Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday Loving Kindness class here at the Dharma Bum Temple, Northern Division, Northern Outpost, or Northern San Diego County Outpost. My name is Alex. It's wonderful to be here with you today. And it was a beautiful day, and it just made me happy. And there's a lot of good things going on in the world right now. And so I want to be grateful and I want to rejoice in that. And I want you guys to try to rejoice in that as well. You know, with COVID, it's turned a lot of people's world upside down, but things are looking really promising right now. Of course, we still have to be vigilant, but things are looking promising. Cases are going down significantly. That big rush we had at the end of Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving, and then again after Christmas, it really created like a really a large outbreak, and that's subsided somewhat. So we have lower case rates, and we have more people getting vaccinated, more people being able to be vaccinated, more vaccine centers opening up, super centers, and other places where things are going to, and so that there's a lot to be grateful for, a lot to look forward to. And so I was thinking today that later on, hopefully this year, when things get back to I hate to say normal, but when things get back to where we'll be able to not have to worry about the virus so much, because hopefully we'll all be vaccinated. How has your life changed? What good things have come out of this? I mean, how has your life changed? And what good things are you going to take out of this? For example, for me, I cook for myself more. I never used to cook for myself as much as I do now. Never. But through social media, I've been able to look at a lot of people who are cooks and make easy food, and I've been able to follow the instructions and make some mistakes as well. But it's been fun. It's been fun to try new recipes and to cook for myself. And normally I would never have done that. Normally I would never have done a lot of things around the house that I have done around the house. Normally I would not be okay with staying at home this much and saving money. And so I've been able to do that. And so there's a lot of things that I've been able to do that I'm really, really grateful for, that I can do, that not everybody can do, when I know that. And I'm not trying to be like flouting a lot of privilege here, but I just want to recognize, things I can be grateful for, even though this is still a difficult time. And I'm hopefully that you've been able to do those things too. So, as always, say hi. If you're new, especially, I would like you to say hi in the chat box. Tell me hi. Tell me where you're from. If you're not new, tell me hi. I would love to hear from you. Engagement really helps. It helps me. Hopefully it helps you. And yeah, so I would love to hear from you. We have like 9 people here. So we have Tamara. Hi, Tamara. Oh my God, Tamara, is this the first time you said anything? I'm very happy you said hello. Hi, Eric. So wonderful to see both of you. Yeah. So anyone else? I know there's 7 other people there. I mean, there's 7 other people. You've got to say something. Hello, Lisa, Marisa. Hello, Jay. I'm glad you're here as well. Wow. Okay. At least 5 people saying hello. That's good. That's more than 50%. So I'm happy. Oh, what's even more? It's like 2/3 of you now. Hi, Jane. I'm glad your cats are here too. And so yeah, let's think about that. Let's think about that. And a lot of times, when we do a meditation, whether it's a loving kindness meditation or a mindfulness meditation, and you want to know the answers to something, or you kind of want to think about something, odds are you already know the answer to it, right? Your mind is just a little cloudy, right? Hi, Jeremy and Meatball and Jen. And so what I like to do is, and what's really recommended is, if you have a question that you want to answer, that you pose the question before you meditate, and then you don't think about it. You don't think about the answer. You don't meditate on the question. You just do the meditation, whether it's loving kindness, which we're going to do here in a minute, or whether it's something else. And then after the meditation, then you ask yourself again. And odds are you have a clearer head, and the answer is just going to come to you, right? So, um, and so, so that's what we're going to do. Okay. So it doesn't look like we have anybody new here, and that's okay. So we had like 7 of the 9 folks. Well, actually, we have 11. 11. Oh my God, it's very exciting. 11 people on here. That's amazing. Hi, 11 people. So we're going to do our meditation on loving kindness, and we're going to do it in the way that we've done it before. And yeah, and before do I want to talk about this before? We'll talk about this after. Yeah, we'll talk about this after. Okay. All right. So let's all get in our meditation position, whether it's on a cushion or on a chair or on the side of your bed, or wherever you're at. Okay. Let's begin. So just allow your eyes to close. And when you sit like a Buddha. You can even just imagine yourself as the Buddha sitting underneath your special tree of enlightenment. You can pick any tree you want. A eucalyptus tree, an oak tree, a sequoia, a redwood. And that's your tree of enlightenment. Ready for the task at hand to do this wonderful meditation on loving kindness, on metta, unconditional happiness, on friendliness, goodwill. So let's just take a deep breath all the way in and all the way out. Not forcing the breath, letting the breath be quite easy and quite natural. At first, anyway. Really getting connected to the breath and getting connected to our bodies. This is a wonderful way to begin a meditation on loving kindness, because we're being kind to ourselves. We're being kind to our body and letting our body relax, letting ourselves sink into our seat and become grounded, getting that one pointed concentration as much as possible. So just for the next few moments, just rest as gently as you can in the sensations of the breath. Now, to begin our formal practice of loving kindness, we're going to start with our benefactor. And as you know, a benefactor is anyone who has shown you great love and great kindness. Someone that's really, you just think of this person and your heart gets bigger and your heart gets warmer and you begin to smile because they've meant so much to you. And you can just radiate loving kindness to this person. And however you understand that word, however you want to radiate, you can radiate. Wishing them happiness, wishing that they do the things that cause happiness. So for the next few moments, we'll do this practice for our benefactor. And so shifting our focus just a little bit from doing this for our benefactor to now imagining our benefactor doing this practice for us. And you can imagine them in your mind's eye just smiling down at you and radiating the same loving kindness that you radiated to them. You already have the experience of them meaning something to you and doing some sort of kindness to you or for you. And you can smile too, and you can smile at them, or you can imagine them smiling at you. And your only job is just to let as much of that loving kindness into your own heart as you can. It's okay if there's resistance. If there is any, just breathe. And breathe out. See if any more can come in. Can you let any more of that in? And of course, smiling helps always. So now we'll just imagine our benefactor doing this practice for us. And now we can start the most important part of this practice, I think, and that's having loving kindness for ourselves. And we can either just imagine radiating loving kindness back onto ourselves. We can imagine our just imagine our heart getting bigger and warmer as we say, "May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be at peace and live at ease in this world." And you can even put your hand over your heart for this part too, listening for any resistance. It's okay if there's resistance, it's not a problem. Can you once more just gently breathe into that? Maybe even saying, "It's okay. It's okay. The resistance is fine." Being glad for the resistance because now you know you can do something about it. We're just repeating, "May I be happy. May I do the things that cause happiness." So we'll do this practice of loving kindness now for ourselves. Now, finally, we can explore the limitless quality of the heart by doing this practice for all beings in all directions, whatever beings there may be, wherever beings may be, upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths. And just radiate loving kindness from your heart as far out as you can go. The heart has this limitless quality, and so we just want to experiment with that. How far can you go? May all beings be happy. So we'll just do this to end our practice. So just open your eyes when you're ready. And just take the next moment or two out in silence as you stretch your arms and you stretch your legs. Keeping that mindfulness of loving kindness about you. We'll give it like 30 more seconds, and then we're going to begin. If you have any questions, if you have any thoughts about what that experience of meditation was like for you, I'd love to hear it. Just type it in the chat box and we'll talk about it. Okay. Well, as usual, that was good for me. All right. I hope it was good for you too. So, one of the things that has been happening, and one of the things that I guess lockdown has afforded me is the ability to explore. And, one of the things I've been exploring, not necessarily because of COVID, but because of things that are happening in the world, and especially started with the Black Lives Matter movement and exploring about uh, my own privilege as a white man, uh, and ways that I've kind of acted on that privilege without even knowing it, because I've done it in many ways. I didn't even know it. It was just the way that I've always acted. And I was able to do that because of a lot of the privilege that I am afforded just for who I am. So a lot of privilege and racism, and kind of seeing that in how that has kind of manifested in the world, and even myself, because if there's something in there, in here, that is, that's any kind of sign of hatred or bigotry or resentment or whatever that is, I want to explore that, as difficult as that might be. As difficult as that might be. And I know that Jeff has talked a lot about that too. Jeff has talked a ton about that in his Facebook posts, in his own on his own account, not the Dharma Bum account, but the Jeff Zlotnick account. And I'm looking in that and go, yeah, that's really cool that as somebody at who's over 40 can say, oh, hey, I need to look at this now, because this does not feel good to me. I've had this privilege and I've acted on it and I haven't really realized it. And I've done a lot of that as well. And one of the things that's really bothered me over the last probably 2 or 3 years is the interaction of spirituality in not just Buddhism, in like every spirituality in general, whether it's New Thought or the yoga culture or the wellness culture or whatever that is, and that intersection with a lot of uh, conspiracy theories and conspiratorial thinking that's been going on, because there's been a merging of that. And as someone who spent a lot of time in that milieu, in that area, milieu. Oh God, I hate using that word. That sounds terrible. That's very privileged. In that area, it's really, really bothered me, but I've never really could put my finger on a lot of things that really, really bothered me. A lot of people, they speak in this really flowery language, but what they're espousing just doesn't sound right at all. There's something wrong with it, but I can't put my finger on it. And so I came across this podcast which talks specifically about that, like specifically about this merging of these two seemingly divergent, um, kind of ideas, if you can say that. And they talk a lot about, specifically about privilege, and about how privilege manifests in the language of privilege, and the language of racism, the language of anti-Semitism, the language of ableism. And ableism is something that I've never even thought about. And I've never thought about it because I'm an able-bodied person, and able-minded, I guess, person for the most part, I guess you could say. But there's a specific language of ableism that's very prevalent in the spiritual community, and I've used that language, and it's been very interesting to me and very eye-opening to me to discover all of that, and to see how that's harmful and how that's damaging to others. And it's been a very exciting time. uh, Difficult in a way, of course, because when you when you go back and you look at all the stuff that you said and did, however unintentionally, that was from a place of privilege or ableist, or even race, even like borderline racist, without even knowing it. It is painful. But for me, I can't do anything about it if I don't recognize it. At least recognize and say, yep, that's the way I've done it, and I don't want to do that anymore. And one of the things, one of the wonderful things that this practice has given me, especially listening to Ton Jeff is a wonderful person to listen to, and because he's very big on, if you recognize it and you don't spend a whole lot of time beating yourself up, if you can help it, and then you just vow not to do it, because you see the harm it causes yourself, and you see the harm it causes others. And so that teaching has really helped me, because before, in the past, I was someone who was filled with a lot of like this kind of internalized shame, and so I wouldn't even think about it. I would just keep on doing it again and again and again, just kind of not thinking about it. But what this practice has given me is the sense of a different kind of shame. And this is the good kind of shame, the shame that says, hey, if I do this is going to hurt me. And this is going to hurt other people. So I don't want to do that. And I'm so grateful for this practice in so many different ways. And I know I shared it before, but this is one of the ways, because there's this anti-hatred in me. I want it out. I want it out. And so for Marisa, to this question, the name of the podcast is called Conspirituality. Now, I listen to all of my podcasts on Stitcher, because I have an Android phone, but I think it's on Apple Podcasts as well. Simply just Conspirituality. It's just so interesting, because there's like three hosts, and one of the hosts spent a lot of time in Shambhala. And Shambhala is a Buddhist, well, for lack of a better word, cult. And so he knows a lot about a lot of the damage that a lot of Buddhist teachers have been involved with. And another person has a lot of experience in like the yoga culture, and another person has a lot of experience in another kind of like spiritual culture, and so the three of them together, that they bring a great deal of knowledge and experience. So it's very interesting to listen to, and I have learned so much about the ways that I have acted and the things that I have said that come from these unskillful places. I will just say that they come from these unskillful places. And as difficult as it's been, I've been so grateful. I've been so grateful, because like, wow, it's like learning something new. It's like learning a new skill. And I love learning new skills, especially when it comes to this practice. I'll never be I'll never like not be grateful for it. So anyway, I was kind of thinking about today in that and additionally, how this is a daily practice, and it's daily that you have to keep on being mindful of what you say and how you act and what you think all the time, you know, um, because it's just so important. It's so important. It's the way out. And I want out. I want out. I want out of all of this suffering, and and I don't want to cause suffering for anybody else either. So anyway, I was kind of thinking about that today, and I was just wondering, because that's one of the things that I've gotten from lockdown. It's forced me to like look at more podcasts, listen to more things, and watch more things. And I'm not really good at watching lots of Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime and all the other things. I mean, I can watch a few shows, but then I'm bored. I only have a laptop anyway. I don't have a TV yet here, so um, I'm sick of looking at my screen, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, that's kind of what I was thinking of. We have like 15 minutes left. We have plenty of time left, and so you can talk about this and any ways that you've kind of some of the same kind of revelations you've had about yourself in quarantine. Or if you have any questions about Buddhism, if you have any questions about practice, if you have any questions about this loving kindness, this experience of meditation and loving kindness, I would love to hear about it. I would love for you to talk about it and for us to have a conversation about this. So, um, yeah, the floor is open. So, Gene says lockdown gave me the ability to attend DBT classes at night, and that I couldn't attend in person because of poor night vision. Very grateful. I'm very grateful too, Gene. Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, there's just like the hidden gems you find, like, oh, hey, I can come to these night classes now. Isn't that great? So thank you. And Eric says, thanks for sharing that. You're very welcome. I've learned to be by myself during quarantine. Isn't that fantastic? That's one of the most important things, I think, Jay, that anyone could really, really learn. Now, I've always said for me that lockdown itself isn't so horrible because I like to be by myself a lot anyway. So it's not terrible. But even for me, you know, over the last probably month or so, it's gotten I feel it more. I feel the need to be with other people more, the wish to be with other people more, um, because I like doing it, but I'm still somewhat of a social person, you know, and I do want to be with people, and I do want to interact with people. I still wear a mask everywhere I go, and I do all of these things that protect myself and other people because I care for others. Um, but I know just I keep on telling myself just a little bit more time, just a little bit more time. This is so much easier than it used to be. And Eric says, I've noticed my unskillful thoughts as well and have become more forgiving of my mind and endeavored to try not to do that again. these classes and hearing about everyone else's minds has helped. Yeah, me too. It's helped me too. Like every time I get like a comment like this, that helps me. So I'm like, oh yeah, you too. I mean, I know you too, but just to see it, kind of on the screen, which is kind of how we have to communicate now, just to see it, like, yeah, me too. Me too. And I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful that, hey, if I see, the ways that I've been really unskillful, instead of like pushing it away, like, no, I want to see it. I want to see it. And then I don't want to do it. And so I can look at this unskillfulness in a different way. Instead of with guilt, I can look at it with some awareness of, hey, I better not do that again because that really causes me a lot of unhappiness. And I bet that causes a lot of other people unhappiness too. And again, that's one of the things, I think it's one of the most important things I've learned from Tom Jeff, who's up in Meta Forest Monastery. And, he's been down to the Dharma Bum Temple to teach a few times. And I really hope that he comes again. And really quickly, if you want to listen to his talks, if you're interested at all, the website is simply dhammatalks.org, DHAMMATALKS.org. And so I'm going to type it here into the thing. There you go. So it's just dhammatalks.org. And so you can go there, and there's like all of these talks on so many different topics. And they're all free. That's the great thing about this. They're all free. And I think that's the other thing that I've noticed and about this podcast that I was talking about. Ultimately, all these people who engage in the wellness culture and in whatever they're doing, they're really only doing it for one reason: money. It basically just comes all down to money and getting more money and selling this and selling that and selling the other thing. It's just really, really interesting to see that. It's like, oh, okay. And it just makes me appreciate the Dharma Bum Temple even more because, we don't charge for anything. I've been leading classes for 12 and a half years now. I've never gotten paid. I haven't made a dime doing this. And you know what? I've never even thought about it. I've never really said to myself, I want to get paid. Pay me my money, Jeff. Jeff, give me my money. And I've never had to think that. And I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful for that. So that's kind of other things that I've been thinking. So yeah, definitely go to dhammatalks.org. Ego, power, yes, absolutely. Yeah, that as well, Eric, absolutely. Katie says, happy to sit, breathe, and provide space for self-love with you. My cat has fallen very ill, which has brought a realization of her mortality and suffering to my being. Please send good merits, namaste. And to you as well. To you as well, Katie. And it's also, one of the wonderful benefits, I think, of kind of what we've had to deal with is that a lot of the pounds don't have any more animals in them because we want that connection with something, and even if it's an animal. And we realize how our animals are really so important to us. We're a unique culture where our animals are like our family. That's how much they mean to us. Our dogs, our cats, whatever animals that we have, and how losing an animal is like losing a family member, and how that's incredibly difficult. And so again, it's another wonderful time to practice, and another wonderful time to practice presence with our animal whom may not be doing very well. Marisa says, in an effort to better know myself, I appreciate that lockdown has allowed me to let all feelings I have just arise without societal messaging halting them to be appropriate around others. Nice. Yes, I think we could all send Katie and her cat some love and support, right? And Katie, thank you for coming. I think this is the first time I've seen you here. So welcome. Welcome. We're glad you're here too. We're glad you're here too. It's wonderful how we can rally around an animal. They're so wonderful and loving, and they just love us. They just love us to death. Um, and they don't really. They're just wonderful sources of joy for us so often. And that's one of the things I haven't done. Once I get this condo where I'm at, just kind of there's to say it's minimalist is kind of an understatement right now. But once I get more things in here, and once it becomes more of a home, like everyone in this complex there's a ton of units here. Like almost everyone has a dog. Almost everyone has a dog, at least one. So that's really interesting. Katie, thank you so much. I love doing this, and I'm glad that you've said something finally, and that you have been coming to this class before. So, yeah, I like it when it's nice to try other classes. Like a lot of people like Jeff's class, and they just do Jeff's class, and that's great. That's wonderful. No issue with that. But it's nice to do other ones too, right? Even this one. And Travis has a wonderful class on Thursdays. And other classes too, but those are like led by they're like Zoom kind of things. They're not from the DBT account. All the love for Katie and her cat. I love it. I love this so much. Thank you guys. So we have just a couple minutes left. Anyone wants to share anything? I'd love to hear it. If not, that's okay too. We can end 3 minutes early. Doesn't matter. I've had a wonderful time here. Oh, I didn't even see that. Katie said that you've been with me many times in person, and I can't see your picture because it's really, really small. But that's okay. I trust you, and I know the name. But it's been so long. It's been almost a year, right? It's a long time. But wonderful to be here with you. Thank you. All right, that's cool. So Eric, the question was, what's a favorite episode topic from that podcast you recommend? So I started from the beginning. So this podcast started in May, and so I'm up to like July's episodes. And one of them dealt with like racism in the spiritual community. This last one was ableism in the spiritual community, and in the kind of the language for that. And I thought that was very, very interesting. So you can just look at the names of them. I mean, I've only listed like 8 of them so far, 8 or 9, like the first 8 or 9. But I liked all of them because they all explored like different things that either has pissed me off about the spiritual communities, or things about myself that I didn't realize in different languages, the different ways that I kind of speak in a language that might be, ableist or come from a place of privilege. So yeah, just check it out. It's wonderful. Conspirituality. All right. Wonderful. Thank you guys. So Let's join our palms together at our hearts, please. And may the benefits of this meditation, this discussion, be received by all beings in all directions. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be joyful and at ease. May all beings be happy. May all beings be loved and seen for the beautiful, radiant beings that they are, that you are. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming. It was wonderful to be here with you, and we will see you next week. Bye now. Oh, love you all. Of course. Bye.